Yo, what is up, my fam? Riptide Collective, it's your boy Theos. Just wanted to bring a short little video on how we could actually study. I know, might sound dumb, but seriously, in school they taught you how to properly study your math homework. And in trading, it's the same concept. How do you properly study the trading? How do you study the material Kev is providing? How do you truly learn ICT concepts? Well, the truth of the matter is really simple. If you grew up and you went to public education, well, you should know how to note take, should know how to write, should know how to spell, should know how to, you know, document in essence. And that's the same concept that carries over. I could say school did not teach me much, but what it did teach me here in America, it taught me some good things to life. All right. So now that we know that we have to actually document, we have to actually write, we have to actually spend time doing due diligence, really engraving this material into our brain and understanding that this is a marathon. This is not a race. I promise you, majority of individuals here are not going to be putting up trades that you see me putting up once in a while, maybe all the time, sometimes, who knows, who cares, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that it's about yourself. Do you want this bad enough? Because the fact is, everyone here should in essence be proof of work of each other. Because if it works for me, and it works for you, and it works for you, and it works for me, and then it works for the new person that joins up in 6 months from now, then that means something's working. And to truly get there, we have to have a collective. And in time, we will have the collective creator circle. Riptide is more than just trading candlesticks, making money. There's so much that we could all do collectively together in an industry that's made to destroy you. In a world where they don't want people to be empowered. In America, I see it, the No Kings protest. I'm not, what's the word? Damn, I don't care about it that much that I can't even recall the word. Political. Yeah, I'm not political. I don't care about why they're doing it. I just care about the words, because I believe that we are all kings and queens of the dominion here of earth. And they're trying to take away your individual power and make you less. But through trading, through your own journal, through your own documentation, you could become more. So now, how could we actually start to study? Well, first things first is you go and watch a YouTube video. Pause the video. Write it down if you feel like it's an important topic. If it's a word that you don't know. If it generates a question inside of your mind. Don't hesitate to ask anybody here. At the end of the day, we're here to help each other. I want to see everybody succeed more than I ever did when I started this. I started at 18, bro, and I'm now 23. And I've went through life like crazy. Anyways, as you're watching the YouTube video and you're pausing, taking notes, there's something that you need to do though. Come to the charts yourself. Kev's about to drop a video about time. I believe it's macros. As soon as he says the first macro, I don't know exactly. I haven't watched the video and I wasn't there for the lecture. But as soon as he's like, oh, 950, 1010, go to your charts. Mark it out. Start to build and engrave it in your mind to mark it out. Go as far as getting the trend line and just drawing it like this and setting macro. right? You could start to see it now. Frame out your trade that you could have potentially taken. Right? Right? Now, like, what's another macro potentially? Oh, 1250, 110. Okay. 1250, 110. See? And then just engrave it. It takes time to remember in the subconscious. You have to spend your conscious time positively self-talk and also doing things that are positive for you, right? So this is a positive aspect. So when you watch that video and you're alone in your own thoughts, your own head, you know, you're in your own room, nobody's really around, just you with your hopes, dreams, desires, and wants, and ambitions, and failures, and suffrage. Okay, that's the truth. That's the reality of the shit. You have to always remember, remain positive. Don't get upset if you're like, I'm so slow at this. Like, where's 1250? There it is. Oh man, that's off. Like, don't get upset. Like, you have to be patient with yourself because this is the highest form of financial literacy there is. The highest form of financial freedom there is, bro. Trading, there's nothing like this. It repeats all the time, every hour. There's a macro, bro. Like, once you truly become disciplined to time and start backtesting, which is kind of what we're doing right now. We're looking back in price, right? And we're framing out potential trades. Buy side liquidity. Kev's talked about liquidity. So you know about liquidity. Buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. After sweeping here, right, you start to look for your reversal entry. And what time? It just so happens to be 150, 210. See, now you start to see that you could do this every day. You could backtest, right? Mark out the trades, right? See, so we swept liquidity, dug a little deeper, failed to go to this wick down here, previous day open, previous week, Monday. Buy side liquidity created, failing to move lower, key time of day, fair value gap, right? You see how this starts to work out? This is truly how I spent a whole year. Demo, backtest. Backtest first. This, literally doing this. Marking out the times, looking at the charts, looking at the fair value gaps, noticing what happened, how price behaved, how price moves, how it should behave, because this is key price action right here. 110, 1250, 110, afternoon set up for continuation lower, right? Into 150, 210, and the day reversal, right? You would start to do this every single day. 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute. It doesn't matter the time frame. It doesn't matter where. Let's look at London session on a 5 minute for crying out loud. Look, 1:30, 5 a.m. That's optimal. Well, what do we do? Accumulate. It accumulated. Well, start to notice. What is this? This is a suspension block. Suspension block. 5M. This is key price action of a suspension block. This is exactly what you want to see of a suspension block for it to be bullish. And then look what we get. Fair value gap volume imbalance. 5 minute. Respect. into where? 7:30 New York Open. Right? 7:30 New York Open. And what do we know about New York Open? 9:30 is optimal trading time. And you just magically get this inversion for value gap. 5 minute. Inversed into market open. But look at market open right there. 9:30 Judas swing. Look at the wick. Zoom out. Start to like understand. Go to the 15 minute. Go back to where you were. Look at price action. Why do we fail to go higher? Oh, okay, what's this? This is a wick. 0 to 1 Fibonacci. Look how we wick into it. This 15-minute wick over here. Let me turn off that. 15-minute wick, 10:30 a.m. Thursday, July 2nd. High, wick high. 50% failed to reach in the moment of Friday the 3rd, July. 9:30 market open. Go to the 1 minute. Go to the 3rd. Right? Oh, there was no New York session. That's why it was holiday. But still, you could see 5-minute inversion, respect. Run up, tap into the 15-minute wick, failing to go higher to the 50%, consequent encouragement. So that's showing weakness in the market in the moment. Look at the bodies, barely going above, failing to close above the lower quadrant. And zoom in a little more, you get inversion for value gap. This is suspension block inversion. Volume imbalance on the high, volume imbalance at the low. Suspension block, turned inversion. Inversion suspension block. And what do you notice? What time is it? 9:50, 10:10, key time of day, respecting. You have order block here. Last up close candle right before the displacement leg. Up close candle, displacement leg, 9:34. Respect, 50%. Actually failed. But if you do 50% of the wick now you get a whole nother freaking spectrum of price, honestly. There's so many little things that you don't need but could use that it's up to you through this here. Backtesting, studying, understanding price, understanding yourself, and above all else, staying disciplined to time. Because if you focus on the time and then start to learn, yourself, learn models from ICT, ask questions, backtest, study, demo, forward test. Forward testing is nothing more than watching price live as it's ticking away, seeing how price is behaving, how it's acting, and if it's doing what you're suspecting it to do in the moment. And it did exactly. It took my fucking target. I got stopped out here. I went short. I'll show you real quick. This was the trade I took. I was short here off the inversion and I got stopped out here. I closed. I had my stop right around here at 650. I was expecting it to just continue lower, but I should have knew better. 650, 710, 5 minute. If you look, 650, 710, 7 o'clock right here. Tap into the 5 minute fair value gap. And there's no better way than to backtest, study, forward test. I'm just going to leave it that color. You see we tap into it and then continue lower. Yeah. And then drop to the hourly. That's the target. Consequent encouragement, 50%. Main target first. On hourly, go to the 5 minute. And watch it draw. And as you're watching this video, go back and look. Look at 750, okay, to 8:10. And go see how the macro actually presented itself, because I know there's a 15-minute wick low down here that I was eyeing as a potential draw. I wanted this 5-minute. This was my original target. And it edged 650, 710 entry. Look how it reversed 650, 710. It reversed intermediate reversal, 5-minute wick entry, continuation lower, and there's that consequent encouragement that I was literally just talking about right there. Like, I can't make it up. This what you just witnessed live in this call, which is now past tense and so far from now, whenever you watch this, that's how you tape read. You forward test. So we wiped out 5-minute, looked how it was moving lower, and just watching and suspecting price to draw to the targets and not needing to click the button. That's the biggest test. It's not needing to click the button, because if you truly are focused on the time, you know your trade's going to present itself once, twice, 5 times, 10 times a day. It doesn't matter. You know what's coming. It's only a matter of, will you have capital available, and will you be in the proper state of emotion and mindset to act accordingly. But with that said, fam, that's going to wrap it up. Just a short little segment on studying backtest. Later.